Oops, I've done it again. I'm on the Broads. It's day one of the Captain's Blog. It's Friday the 24th of May. Hello. It's the start of the bank holiday weekend, which means it's terrible weather. It's been raining for most of the day. It's actually stopped just now, but it's forecast later this evening to have actually gale force warning has been issued for the east of England, gusts up to 50 or 60 miles an hour. Not the ideal weather for being on a boat, but I hired Belmore, which I will give you the full tour of as usual later and a full review, from Barnes Brinkcraft in Wroxham. I must admit, one of the reasons why I chose that boatyard and this boat is because they're offering a 30% discount for last minute bookings, and I just couldn't refuse that, frankly. I thought to myself, this is ideal going from Barnes Brinkcraft. I can walk into Wroxham, I can go to Roy's and get some shopping, but because I had skipped breakfast, I thought I better get something to eat, so I popped into McDonald's. Whereupon a chap said, "Excuse me, are you Robin?" "Yes," I said. He introduced himself, and then I met his family. They've come all the way from Scotland. His wife is an avid viewer of this blog, so hello. And you are already on a boat. I think you're down for 2 weeks, if I remember rightly. You've had a week, and I hope you've had a lovely time. I didn't ask what boat you're on, I'm sorry. But you're a lovely bunch of people. Thanks for saying hello to me. It's rather unnerving when I'm just in McDonald's and people who are not even from Wroxham come and say hello because they've seen me on YouTube. So it is nice, but yeah, it's a bit weird. It doesn't happen to me in London. The fame hasn't spread to the south, it seems. I'm on the River Bure. Behind me is Wroxham, and I'm heading towards the River Ant. This boat is a bit stupid. It's quite high, I'm afraid. Yes, it's not very practical. It's almost 9-foot air draft. I don't know if we're going to fit under Ludden Bridge. There's been a lot of rain last night, a lot of rain tonight. Low water at Ludden and Potterheim. It's 7:10 this evening, so I might give it a go. We'll see. I would love to get up the River Ann, but you know, I'm not going to take too much risks if it's too high the water. But that's the rough plan. I'll just show you the helm, the steering position here, and what I'm seeing at the moment. So you join me here at the helm of Belmore, and lovely, as you see, huge windows and a great high up view of the river ahead of you. It is a very comprehensive helm, as you can see. I've got just about every option for my electrics going. I can even turn the shaver socket on and off. I've got an oil pressure, volts and water temperature. I've got a rev counter, more on that in a moment. I've also got a holding tank capacity for the toilet to let me know if that's getting high. I've got a fuel gauge, I've got a water gauge, I've got bow thrusters. Where does it end? But I said about the rev counter. Now this boat is hydraulic drive, and you know I'm not very keen on hydraulic drive boats. But I don't know if it's a combination of the engine. I haven't seen what size engine this boat has got. It is a relatively light boat. It's 30 foot long and it's 11 foot wide. But can you see that? We're doing 900 RPM and we're doing 4 miles an hour. This has got a very economically geared engine. I'm not sure. Some boats I've had need to do sort of 1100, 1200 RPM to do 4 miles an hour, so I'm very happy that this is just ticking over at 900 and we're cruising along the river very nicely indeed. So with that in mind, I think this might be quite an economical boat. Now I know that's all to do with the engine, the hull shape, the weight, the propeller, all sorts of things could be taken into account and explain why that is, but it's worth noting. There's a CD radio cassette, as you can see there. It's not a cassette, it's a CD radio, Robin. Why are you saying it's a cassette? So I've just stopped here at Sow House Spit, where they're doing a lot of the works where they've recreated some land from water that's been dredged out of the main river here and then dumped over there. And apparently that used to be there before, not too long ago, maybe sort of 50 or 60 years ago, and subsequently has been eroded, lost and so on, and it makes an ideal way of bringing back land that was there from mud and silt that came from there, if you know what I mean. So it shouldn't be too detrimental to the environment or anything. But as I'm off the boat, which is a feat in itself, to be frank with you, with this boat, I wanted to just show you what it looked like from the outside and just how high the freeboard really is. So here is Belmore. This is Belmore number 1, I believe. And as you can see, if you're stern on mooring, it's perfectly fine. You've got a door, a low platform here with steps up and handrails to help you, but as you can see, as far as this goes here, this is the same level all the way along, and to get off of this boat is quite daunting. It doesn't look that high, but you've also got to contend with these side decks. Now, they're not particularly narrow, I mean they're not overly wide, but they actually slope away from the boat. So this means as you walk along them, they're at an angle just like this, they're not flat, so you feel like you're kind of gonna slip off the side of the boat. So it's not a boat for the less abled by any means. More particularly, it's when you've moored up and then you come to get back on it. There is no graceful way to get back on this boat, and I believe this is the guy that may just ask me perhaps for some money to see what I'm up to or something. We'll see. Hold on. So where were we? That was just the one of the rangers here at Sow House coming to collect some mooring fees, but just doing a little bit of filming, so they've been waived. Sow House is a privately owned Broad, which you can use freely, but you have to pay to moor on the spit here or over on the main Broad itself. So as I was saying, yes, there's no graceful way to get back on this boat. You have to kind of come along, grab hold of what you can and get your leg over. So it is, as you can see, how often do I moor on the offside? But you see, these little pussy buttons, the old bow thrusters, they really help, because even though you can't see exactly what's going on over here, you can just bring the bow in, yep, that's against the back, or the bank, sorry, and then bring the stern in and then just get off. So that is the boat. As I say, I will take you through a tour of the inside of the boat. You can see it's lovely sedan style cruiser, so you get this seating area complete with some soft cushions. It's got an outside light, so in the season, if you're a fisherman and you want to fish into the evening comfortably, you can. So it's really thing. The only problem, as I say, is it's a tall boat. It's got a high air draft and a high freeboard, so you know, looks over practicality. That's why I'm comparing this more to Far Horizon, which also is a tall boat and also has a high freeboard. This will go under bridges, hopefully. Far Horizon will only go under Acle Bridge at low tide, obviously. But that is the outside of the boat for you. I won't bore you too much, I won't go on too much. So I'll do the full tour later, as I said. But this is Sow House. It's getting a bit busy now. The afternoon day trippers are out in force, the day boats. I've just seen one of the tour boats go past for Broads tours, one of the large passenger craft. There's another day boat from Summercraft there. So it's all happening. There's a hive of activity on the river. The rain stopped, it's warmed up a bit in the sun. It's looking like this weekend could be a good one. And I'm blooming pleased I'm here. So you join me here on the River Bure. I'm just making the right hand turn outside the Swan at Horning and Lower Street, and it's been a very pleasant journey up from Wroxham. Although there's a lot of heavy cloud, there's some patches of blue. There's been no more rain, which is good, and the only problem is it is a bit blowy today, and this is a boat which has a planing hull. So what that means is that the actual shape, the underwater shape of the hull, is quite V in design and shape. And of course, that would mean if you had a big engine in this and you were out to sea, it would come up on the plane, and that therefore would give you higher speeds than a displacement hull. But when you're on the rivers, on the Norfolk Broads, and you've got a heavy breeze on your port side, for example, the amount of compensation that you have to put into the steering wheel and keep at it, looking, checking, you know, it's not a boat you can just sort of go, oh, isn't that wonderful, oh, look at that, because you'll just be in the reeds. And I found that with Far Horizon, which is equally a planing hull. So high-sided boat, planing hull, requires extra concentration and a lot more input into the steering. Having said that, the steering is excellent. It's extremely responsive, very smooth, very light action, no need to worry about anything there. As I've come through Horning, all of the moorings outside the Swan taken, the public stayed taken, and it looks like the new in stern-on moorings as well are pretty full up, if not completely. So it actually is turning out to be quite busy. Now, a lot of people will have taken over boats like me this afternoon just for the weekend. Of course, some people will have been out on the Broads last week and be taking their boats back tomorrow. So it's interesting in a way. I thought it would be a little bit more busy as far as actual boats on the water go. I haven't actually passed too many boats along my travels, but I'll show you. Here we are just at the new inn at Horning and their moorings here. So as you can see, this is the new inn, and actually I thought that was one boat at the end, but look, it's just a boat on its own. So that's Glittering Light from Herbert Woods there. It's one of my favourite design boats, that, because you get a outside steering position, but you get a low boat will go under Wroxham Bridge. Not sure about put iron these days. When it was built it would occasionally, but I think increasingly unlikely. The new inn though, funny old place, the new inn. Very nice outside seating, you know, brilliant place to eat when the weather's good. But when you go in, it's a small pub with a very big beer garden, is how I describe it. Some mixed reviews and personal experiences of being okay and not so okay in there. So to be brutally honest, if I was going to go somewhere for a meal, I would either go to the Swan or to the Ferry Inn. But for a good drink, probably for atmosphere and just drinking, the new inn. So we've just passed Ramworth Dam, which I figured out is actually what it's called. Forever I've been referring to the stretch of water that leads to Ramworth Stave and Malthouse Broad as Ramworth Dyke. So there we are. I will try and remember it's called Ramworth Dam. The wind's got up, the waves are coming towards the boat, the swell's got up a bit, so we're heading directly into the wind, which has meant that the control of the boat is improved. And there's a tiny little bit of a swell going on at the present time, which is kind of good. I think we're going to be in for some more rain though, because although the cloud is still broken, it has built up again, and so the rain is surely not far away. I just put the heater on, and this boat has an interesting heating system which I'm still trying to figure out. The guy at the boatyard said it will heat your hot water as well as heat the boat. Now that therefore leads me to believe it's a wet system. In other words, the hot air heater heats hot water up that passes through matrices which then convert that hot water into hot air, much the same way as a car engine. The coolant from the car engine is what heats up the interior of the car when you put the heater on. What I wasn't expecting is the sheer number of heater outlets and the power of this heater. Within about 5 minutes, I've got 2 outlets on the floor to my right, and I've got a huge one which is akin to something you find in an office. It's a metal square grate, and loads of hot air's coming out of that. There's separate thermostats, one for up here and one for the forward cabin, so you could have it warmer in the cabin before going to bed and cooler up here, or vice versa. Very controllable and most impressive. So this is a boat that, you know, if it's a chilly winter or late spring coming, it's quite phenomenal. And while it's on, it will heat your water. So technically speaking, without having to run the engine in the morning, you can put the heater on and that would heat the boat and the water up. Now of course, I would presume that if the water is cold, then it will take some time to heat the water up, and that may affect how long it takes for hot air to come out of the warm air outlets throughout the boat. But we'll tomorrow find that out. But that's just an update basically. It's got a bit busier as I've gone along the Bure. Quite a few private boats out already. You know, left work early, got to the boat and taking it out and heading off for their overnight mooring. And quite a lot of Herbert Woods boats out and about. Large Herbert Woods boats, it has to be said, with not single sex parties on, but young people all out for a good time, which is always good to see. Somewhere on the system is Broad Ambition this weekend, and I've told Charlie, you know, I'm looking out for him. He makes me laugh. I call these eyes. Do you call them eyes? Yeah. Well, Charlie, the skipper of Broad Ambition, calls them his port and starboard lookouts. And what do you think he calls ears? Yeah, the port and starboard hear outs. So some interesting nautical terminology there. So he's going to keep these port and starboard lookouts out, peeled and at the ready. I've got no idea if I'm going to bump into them. That would be embarrassing if I literally bumped into them. They are out and about somewhere. I've got a feeling, I don't know why, they may be at Ranworth. So if you're at Ranworth, Charlie, then on Friday night, that was a feeling I had across the marshes. Oh, that was interesting. You didn't see that on camera. But that's rain now coming down. It's coming across here. So the rain is now falling, and damn, I'm going to get wet when I moor up, because I haven't unpacked my waterproof. That's still in the case, because I'm intelligent like that. I'm so keen to get going. I think, right, gloves, phone, binoculars, sunglasses, waterproof considering the amount of rain. No, I'll leave that packed. Yeah, I'll wait. Do you know what else? I've got no idea where 2 things are on this boat, one of which I bet you's missing. First of all, the rond anchors. I've got to go and hunt for them because I'm planning on a wild mooring tonight. Second of which, the curtains on this boat only go on the side windows. The outside windows have the press stud on things. And I wouldn't mind betting you that they are not on board this boat. Just like they were not on board when I was on Far Horizon. And I like it when it's cosy and the curtains are on and it's nice at night, instead of when the lights are on inside the boat, everything outside is just black. So yeah, if they're not on the boat, I haven't been told where they are. I might be phoning Barnes Brinkcraft tomorrow and saying, I need me curtains. I'm a very private person. The fact that 47,000 people watch me on the internet is neither here nor there. Okay, so approaching now is, oh look at that, it's the River Ann and it's looking very busy. Lots of boats on the Ann. Lots of boats going to be taken over from Richardson's, coming down the Ann from Stalham. Pretty perky today, aren't I? Pretty chatty, I hope you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so they're all going to be coming down the Ann. I don't know if I've got the guts to go up and look at London Bridge though. I've had an idea because low water tomorrow is at 7:36 in the morning, okay? Now I thought if I moored off the River Thurn, I could get up early tomorrow, leave the mooring at say 8 o'clock. It doesn't take too long to motor round up the Ant from the Thurn. And I would get to London Bridge and someone's calling me. So this is the current situation I've got at the moment. A noisy windscreen wiper. It wipes really well when it goes from left to right, but nothing at all from right to left. Misting up of the screens, and there's less than 8 foot clearance at the current time under London Bridge. So no going up the Ant for me in this boat here. It's torrential rain, as you can see, and I need to just wipe the screen a second here, just so I have some sort of ability to see out. So I got my new Bolt windscreen wiper and probably dropped there was 3 sort of adapters to be able to clip onto varying wiper arms, and the one that I needed I probably dropped. It bounced off the boat and it's somewhere in the River Bure. So my windscreen wiper that would be probably silent and wipe much better than this can't be used. So it's always interesting when it does rain in a boat like this. There's always something. At least I have a windscreen wiper. It wipes 50% and it makes itself know that it's doing a good job. That will drive me insane. As far as everything else goes, everything else is nicely steaming up on the inside. I'm going to open the back doors because if I open the side doors, the rain just comes in. So I'm not going to put the heater on because that will just make the inside even warmer and the outside colder and more condensation. So my plan now is turned around, obviously, heading back down the River Ann. We'll turn left when we get to the Bure. And where do you think I'm going to be heading towards? Yes, Womack Dyke. So actually I think it'd be a good idea to stop recording, and because it's no boats around at the moment, this is a quiet little river, quickly have a look. Where are the rond anchors? So that's the update basically. Pouring with rain and lots of condensation and a noisy windscreen wiper. Oh, and I can't get under London Bridge. Yay. Okay guys, so a little bit of an update. We're on the River Bure, we're still heading down the River Bure, heading towards the mouth of the River Thurn, and when we reach that we'll be taking a left hand side turn and heading off up the River Thurn, and then not too long afterwards we will be taking another left for Womack Dyke, which leads to Womack Water and the lovely village of Ludden. One of my favourite moorings is on that little dyke that leads to Womack Water, but I haven't been there sort of at this popular time of year, and it is very obvious it's a wild mooring, and so I wouldn't be surprised. What's the time now? 16 minutes past 5, if that's not been snapped up by someone. I've found the curtains and the rond anchors. The external vinyl coverings for the windows are in an outside locker, and on top of them were the rond anchors. So 2 birds have been killed with 1 stone. I like that. Also, I had brought this stuff here. Now, they don't sponsor me. Grease Lightning Crystal Clear cleans and protects in 1. Now, it doesn't really help as far as the water beading off the windscreen, which it was supposed to do. But what it has done on the inside, no more condensation. Gone. So, thoroughly recommend this. It's a bit pricey. $4.99 this cost me. But it can be used on any windows, car windows, visors of helmets, house windows. It basically puts a film over the glass and repels grime and dirt. Apparently it means you don't have to wash your windows so often. I'm not too sure about that. So I've done that, and all the condensation went before my eyes. So that is good stuff. It works, which is more than can be said for turtle wax's equivalent stuff that smells very alcohol-y and didn't really do very much when I used it last year. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that because people watch this blog are not necessarily hirers, they are private boat owners, and one of the points of questions sometimes asked is, what do you do about condensation on windows? Well, this stuff seems to help. I don't know how long it'll last for, or you know, maybe just a light misting it can cope with, but you know, maybe not going to help bathroom mirrors stay condensation free and stuff like that, but hey, worth a try. So that's about it really. So where these speed limit signs are here, that is Womack Dyke, and that is where we're going to be turning off. I can already see some boats, 2 boats I think moored where I like to, and here just comes out of Womack Dyke a boat here, so I fear that my preferred moorings may have already been taken, but we'll see where we end up tonight. At the present time it's a bit of an unknown. So here we are, join me here moored on Womack Dyke. Windy as ever, just the same as it was in April when I was here on Distant Horizon 2. The clouds, not too bad over there, but that's where the real weather's coming from. The wind here was blowing me onto the bank, which meant I could take my time with the rond anchors. Barnes Brinkcraft never give you very much rope. I think they're the most stingy with rope lengths. They're all pre-done. They're all the same, so it doesn't matter if you've got a short 30-foot boat like this or a 48-foot Emperor class boat. They all have the same type of pre-done lines. So why is the rear fender on the side of the boat? Well, I just noticed all of this melting and scorching and stuff, and I thought, oh, that's because of the hot air heating outlets down there. And so of course, if this fender is down where it should be, and that's why it's deflated, then obviously, as you can see, not only is it exactly where the hot air heating outlet is, but as the boat then comes to rest against the bank, it then suffocates effectively the exhaust for the hot air heater. So that needs to be kept on board when using the heater, otherwise you'll risk melting it, as it already is a little bit. They do get hot, these, and if that can't let the exhaust out, then not so good. As you can tell, there's a duck on the boat. Very high freeboard. It makes getting off of this, as I said earlier, interesting. It's a high boat. I wasn't able to get under London Bridge today, so that's where I am. I don't think it's going to be long before the rain comes. I'm surprised there's not more boats already moored here. So I'm going to get in, unpack, and then I'll give you a tour of this Belmore class boat from Barnes Brinkcraft. So let's begin the boat review of Belmore, which I've hired from Barnes Brinkcraft in Wroxham, and I apologise in advance for the conditions here, but I wanted to first of all draw your attention to this beautiful space at the back of the boat here. Now this is an ideal sun trap, but if the weather's a little bit inclement, for example, you have got this overhang here to stop everybody getting wet, and it's also got an outside light so that if you want to sit out here on a lovely still warm summer's evening, of which this is not one, you certainly can. And you could sit here, you've got padded cushions here. You've got a door that opens up for your stern mooring when you're coming in on a stern mooring, and again the same here. You've also got power, 240 volt if you moor near a post, for example at Ludham or Ramworth Staithe, where you can hook up to electric points. There's also many others around the Broad system. Not too long ago some were introduced on the BA 24-hour moorings opposite Herbert Woods at Potter Heigham. So as I say, this is the lovely outside area here on Belmore. You enter the boat through these 2 sliding doors, so let's see what lies behind them. So you join me here in the snug and warm saloon of Belmore, looking out on Womack Dyke. And first of all, I want to point out the fact that behind the curtain just there is the first of the 2 stereo speakers, and here is the very comfortable settee. This boat has a capacity of 4 persons. It's primarily aimed at couples, with 2 V-berths in the front cabin that convert to a double if required, and the dinette also converts into a double berth. But I would say that certainly 3 people could comfortably sit at this settee here, but it's ideal for 2. You've got 2 storage drawers underneath that go back all the way, very deep. 1 hot air heating outlet there, and a second hot air heating outlet there. In this locker here, that is just the gas taps for the cooker and the oven to turn that on and off. But as you can see, there's plenty of space to put things. Now, although your head will not be able to be at the window level to look out when you're sat down here, it is made up because you can look out the back and have a lovely view there. As we move around here, you'll see we've got the television, which is a more generous screen size than most hire boats have. This one is 19 inches. And a very nice little unit is here as well. You've got 2 drawers, you've got a glass bowl if you bring in any fruit and so on, you can put that in there. And also in these rather ingeniously operated cupboards, you see it's flush, you push it in and then one can open it. Because the galley on this boat is very small and compact, most of the stuff, such as your crockery, here you've got your mugs, your teapot and so on, has to be stored away from the galley. So, you know, when you're looking for stuff and making a cup of coffee and so on, you do need to pop up a couple of steps up here to get it. Everywhere, as you can see, is lovely fitted in this light wood finish. This is a premium boat. You've got your holly and teak laminate flooring, a lovely helm seat here as you can see as well, and then coming over to the very comprehensive helm itself, you've got all of your switches for all of your electrics there. You've got your oil PSI, volts and water temperature as far as the engine goes, your rev counter, the wiper, horn and bilge pump switches. Then also, unusually on a hire boat, you've got how your waste tank's doing, your fuel gauge and your domestic water tank. You've also got bow thrusters, the main heating switch, and of course the trusty JVC radio that features on just about every hire boat out there. As we come away from the helm, you see very light and airy because of these large windows, and it offers you, because you're so high up in this boat, a really commanding view of the whole scenery, as you can see there. So this is, as I said, a premium boat. It does attract a premium price, especially at this time of the year, but really if you're looking for something that's very comfortable, very light, modern, fitted out to a high standard, this is the kind of boat you're going to go for, and this is why you're going to obviously pay that premium price. So next up, let's head down to the galley and the dinette area. So here's the dinette, which as you can see is very cosy and very nicely fitted out indeed. This table is very firm and large and comfortable to sit up. It's an ideal height, it's not too low, it's not too high. Again, the seating's lovely, and this will actually drop down and form the double berth which I was talking about earlier, and there's again lots of little storage spaces to put little things and put everything away, and again it's a real kind of a lovely feeling boat to be on. It's very light, the wood, it's very warm. And talking of warm, you saw earlier we had 2 hot air heating outlets there. Well, guess what, we've got another one here. That's a cold air return. And I did actually forget to show you, but I'll just show you now. Over here, which is under where you steer from, under the helm, there's more hot air heating outlets. One that is an inlet for the air, and the other one above is one that has hot air coming out of it. And these are all thermostatically controlled from one of these units here, and there's another one in the forward cabin. So this boat is catered for absolutely wonderfully as far as heating goes. Very comfortable. I've just got it on at the moment, just on low, just ticking over, keeping things snug but not too warm. So let's move round into the galley, which, let's face it, on this boat is very compact. Storage space at a premium here. Everything's out on display. There's no little nooks and crannies to put anything. The sink is very small. The hob, whilst a 4-burner, is a compact hob, but you've got your traditional grill and oven. Again, in these cupboards here, you're going to have your pots, your pans and so on, and then there you've got your utensils, and I know on this boat a good can opener. So it does serve its purpose, this galley, but it is some kind of bijou. You do have a microwave, as you can see. This boat is what I would call a full 240 volt boat. In other words, you've got a microwave with a socket, you've got a socket in the saloon, you've got a socket in your cabin, so you've got power around the boat on a ring main, and so quite a beefy inverter. On most of Barnes Brinkcraft boats, the inverter is perpetually on. There is no on-off switch. You just have your 240 volt ready when you want it. Let's have a look next at the heads. So here are the heads, and again, because this boat is a compact boat, don't expect you know, a TARDIS in here in the toilet area. You've got a traditional pump action toilet here, which is of the larger bowl variety. These types of toilets come in two: a small, which is kind of a cutaway bowl, but this is at least a full toilet bowl. A very small shower tray and shower area there. And of course, what I wondered was, well, where does the toilet roll live? Well, they've thought of everything, keeping it out of the way of the shower. Again, this you push in and pull open, and there it is on the back of the door. So it's out of the way from the water when you're having a shower, but when you need it, it's easy to get to. I do like these little click switches. Again, there's a storage space here to keep things out of the way. This is a mixer tap that you pull out and up, and also doubles up as your shower. Very nice sink, and very good headroom throughout this boat. This is because of the sheer size of the freeboards on this boat. But you've got a mirror there, you've got a nice hook on the back of the door as well, and it's finished in this really nice laminate here that's very easy to wipe down and very clean and hygienic. So not the biggest of heads, but then you're not going to be in there all the time, are you? So serves its purpose again. Very nice too. Next up, and finally, the forward cabin. So let's go into the forward cabin, the only cabin on this boat, and it's accessed through these two doors, which, as you can see as you open them, they both open out. And for a V berth on a smaller boat, you've got to say this is actually quite spacious. You've got a lot of headroom in here, and because it starts quite far back on the boat, it means there is plenty of space here. Two drawers again, and yet more heater outlets. And as you can see, these are not the sort you usually find on boats. These are big kind of things you might expect in domestic premises, and I'll show you the reason for that in a second. As we go into the cabin, you will see that we have another thermostat. Now, what this means is that you can have the forward cabin at a completely different temperature to the rest of the boat. Maybe you like it to have it cooler, maybe you want to turn the temperature right up before you go to bed. But it means that you can control this pretty instantly, and the reason why is because these are matrices. So there's water going through here and a fan behind it, and it's blowing air and it's being heated by the hot water. And because of that, when you turn this thermostat, it controls the valve on how much flow of water comes through, thus being very similar to your domestic central heating system thermostat. And so when you turn this down, it immediately gets cooler. If you turn it up, it lets more hot water in and it gets hotter. Now, I don't know how good this is on fuel consumption, because on a normal blown warm air heating system, when you turn this down, the actual hot air heater reduces its fuel consumption, reduces the amount of actual air that's being expelled from the vents, and thus uses less fuel and produces less heat. This, however, probably runs at its set operating setting regardless of what you select here. So jury's out on that, but for comfort and practicality inside the boat, well, it wins every time, I've got to say. This is a first for me, and it's very effective. You've got here your 240-volt socket, a full height wardrobe here, some nice spotlights here. Again, you've got all these little storage places you can put stuff in. And I've got to say as well, Barnes Brinkcraft, you excel on your linen. This is what I would term hotel quality. It's very soft, very thick, firm yet soft pillows, nice comfortable duvets, plenty of blankets. They've given me 4. Again, lots of storage space here, another lighting there, another full-length wardrobe here, and it's very comfortable in this forward cabin indeed. Now this boat is by far and away not perfect, and it won't suit every budget and it won't suit every taste. For example, it's tall, it's got a high freeboard, so it's hard to get on and off. But while I'm in the front cabin, I think it's only fair I should draw your attention to a couple of things that this boat has that might sway you one way or the other. What these things are is that this window here and the same on the other side will not open. These are fixed sealed unit windows. That means that the only way you can get fresh air into this boat is through the escape hatch. But the escape hatch has no way of being held open like some of them. It's either open or shut, or you can fling it all the way open. But if you fling it all the way open, of course then it's difficult to shut. You have to go outside the boat to open it. So as far as a hot summer's day, for example, maybe you're moored up at night and you want to have some air coming into the cabin, this is your only source of fresh air. There's no windows that can be left open at all. So there's the couple of things about this boat that is perhaps a little bit of a niggle for me, and the reason for this is pretty damn simple. This is a seagoing boat. Let's not gloss over the fact, and you can't have opening windows if you're going to have a lot of spray coming against them and stuff. They've got to be up to the job to repel that water, and there's a lot of weight behind water, and that's why all the other boats, all the other windows on the boats, they are not the sort that fold inwards. They are all sliding windows and have very big rubber seals and latches on them to lock them. So as far as the windows go on this boat, that's because of the way it was designed, because of the purpose it was designed for, and of course now it lives on the Broads, and there you go. You can't have opening windows because you can't slide a window open with an angle like that. So that's your kind of your deal, people, with this type of boat. It's looks and style sometimes, and often the case, against practicality. Although, having said that, I suppose you could have the heating turned all the way down and it would just run cool, so there's another way of getting some fresh air into this boat. But really and truly, I mean, it's not the newest of boats, let's be honest. I would suspect this boat was pre-built in the early to mid 1990s. But it's been very well looked after by Barnes Brinkcraft. It retains its premium quality feel. There is carpet in the forward cabin, so when you get out of bed and you've got your bare feet, it's a nice soft thing to put your feet on. They're generous sized singles, both in terms of width and length, and so I would say this is a lovely boat, especially for a couple, a young couple, maybe your first holiday together, you want to impress her. Guys, if you want to impress your lady, trust me, you want to get boats like this and not bathtubs. Thanks for joining me on the tour of this boat though. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's given you some insights into the practicality of this boat. Just before I go, however, there is one last thing about this boat. There's loads of storage space on it, but it's all little storage space. So for example, where you're going to put your bag, your case and so on and so forth, some boats, like the boat I've just had cupboards that you could bung that kind of stuff in that were big enough to hold it. This boat doesn't have that. So again, I like to be nice and neat and have everything put away, and so especially if there's a couple of you, you might find yourself limited on not where you can store stuff or the amount of places, but just the sheer volume of the storage on this boat is quite small. So anyway, thanks for joining me on this tour of Belmore from Barnes Brinkcraft. I'll learn how to speak later. I haven't even opened the wine yet. It's time for me to relax, enjoy the evening, open the wine, and until tomorrow then, bye for now. So good morning and welcome to day 2 of the Captain's Blog. It's the 25th of May and what a difference a day makes. Yesterday was overcast, rainy, windy. Today's much brighter. It's due to get up to a heady 16 degrees. So I've got no idea what I'm going to do today because I've just been on the Broads literally last month. I think I can just enjoy the laziness of it all, the peace and the tranquility of the Broads, rather than perhaps your typical hirer who might just come once or twice a year, or even if that, maybe it's their first time they've ever been. Now, because whilst that's all fine and dandy for me, just to potter about and not really think about where I'm going or what I'm doing, it makes a Captain's Blog, for me, perceivingly, seem less interesting for you, the viewer. So I'm sorry if this Captain's Blog, this trip, isn't very long or very interesting. It wasn't planned. It was booked 2 days before I've come away, and when I booked it I thought I'm not even going to bring the camera. I'm going to bring as little as possible. Well, I did bring as little as possible. Normally I bring half the house with me, but I also brought the camera, and then I started doing a blog, and then I've met 3 people that watch these blogs, and so it's a bit like, oh, pressure, should I do it, shouldn't I do it, I don't know. So yeah, nothing polished about this one, folks. This is as it happens, literally. Some news on the boat. Last night I gave up trying to sleep in the forward cabin. The berths on this boat are they're long, but they're very narrow, as I found out, and I just couldn't really get comfortable. So what I did is I made up the dinette and I slept there. But because of the disturbed sleep and thinking I should make up that dinette, anyway, it meant I have hardly had much sleep. So apologies if I seem a bit sleepyhead or whatever. It's about 25 minutes past 8 in the morning at the moment. I've just had a light breakfast, and as I say, I'm not really sure what we're going to do today. There's quite a few Herbert Woods boats have gone past on their way back to Potter Heigham. Probably they've had a week on the water from Saturday, or maybe a short break. But because you never know these days with the yards, they're all over the place with the short break days. I mean, in the past it was Monday to Friday for a fortnight, and Friday to Monday for a short break over the weekend. That was it. Now it's like Saturday to Tuesday, Tuesday to Saturday. Oh, it's all over the shop. Not a bad thing, mind you, because it gives people a lot more choice and flexibility on the dates that they come. So as far as that goes, I'm sure the boat yards probably think, oh god, this is awful, all these turnaround days and different... But for us, the hirers, it's great, more choice. So anyway, I'm going on a bit, the wind's getting up a little bit. I'm going to cast off now and just potter around. Might pop down to Potter. I might give Ludden Bridge another go later on today, see if we can get under that. So that's just the rough plan. Thanks for watching. More as it happens. So I'm at Potter Heigham, and as you can see, that's where I'm moored there. The wind as ever probably will blow on the microphones any moment now. But they don't think there's going to be any going under Ludden Bridge again today, because low water at both Potter Heigham and Ludden was estimated to be at 7:36 this morning, and as you probably can just see here, it is now just on 6 foot, and you can also see where the tide was earlier. So that's the situation. That heavy rain on Thursday and Friday has certainly changed the water levels around here, when just the other week people were complaining about where had all the water gone. Also of interest today, because it's Bank Holiday Saturday, and all of the day boats appear to be in. I know it's only about 9:30 in the morning, 20 to 10, but I'm surprised there's not more early takers taking advantage of sort of a half-day hire or a full-day hire. So that's really what's happening at the present time. It's very quiet today. All the boats have been taken back on the Saturday hire for a week, Saturday to Saturday. Of course, naturally, a lot of people have taken short breaks, starting like me yesterday. But now the wind's gone up and stuff, I think I better leave it for now. I'm going to pop into Latham's, just get something to drink and some more kitchen towel. It seems a very leaky boat as far as condensation goes, and seem to be getting through it quite a lot, so how mundane is that? Kitchen towel from Latham's, more as it happens. So as you can see, the weather has improved somewhat. Just before I turned the camera on, the sun was even out. I've got the sunshine roof open, and when the sun is out it's quite warm, so it's very nice indeed. Just coming up to what I would call the outskirts of Potter Heigham, the last few chalets and riverside properties along here, and I've got a river inspector on the right hand side and a private Calypso, so I don't know if he's stopped him or it just happens to be coincidence that the two are together, but I'll just swing the camera around and show you this. Well, he certainly was writing something down, so, you know, we can only presume an inspector's launch, a couple and their dog and paper being written down, perhaps a little warning there, or who knows, so I don't want to speculate. Anyway, so we're continuing down, as you can see, the River Thurn. Yesterday I did talk about the fact that there was the Thurn Regatta today. I believe it starts today. So there could well be some sailing activity going on as we get further down to the mouth of the Thurn where it joins the Bure, but I'm not quite sure what's going on when that's happening, or, you know, it's all up in the air for now. So I'm just at the mouth of the River Thurn. I've spent a very pleasant time actually on Broad Ambition at Thurndike with Griff, his wife, and Paul and his wife. Had a nice chat, coffee, and I've decided I'm probably going to be heading for Sow House, possibly overnighting there actually. So I'm heading that way anyway. So as I say, it's 1 o'clock. I'm at the mouth of the Thurn where it joins the River Bure, and the yacht regatta's going on. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what's happening. So we're still on the River Bure, heading through now Horning. Just coming up on the right hand side will be the New Inn, the pub that is, and then further on just down the high street if you like is the Swan, and then we'll do a sharp left past Horning Sailing Club and continue our way up the Bure towards Sow House. Time is 3:10. It's been a lovely afternoon. There's been some, shall I say, interesting helming going on today, particularly the day boat that was deciding to do figure of eights in the middle of the river with people clambering all over it. That was interesting. Not to mention as well, trying to keep out of the way of a lot of yachts today, taking advantage of the bank holiday weather and the slight breeze. It's a good breeze, but it's not too much. In comparison to yesterday, which was really blowing a hoolie, today is much calmer and quieter. As I've progressed down from the mouth of the Bure when we joined at the River Thurn, is got steadily more busy with all sorts of different boats. So you've got to have your wits about you. I wonder sometimes if boats should be fitted with sort of indicators, so at least one has an idea that you're going left, you're going right, no, you're just going on straight. So there's always that, oh, what are they doing? There's an example happening right ahead of me now with a boat stopped, a yacht overtaking, and I'll just show you. So I think he wants to come into a mooring here outside the new inn, but we've got a Bermuda overtaking him, and I've got to get through as well. There's a boat directly behind me as well. Everybody was through successfully. So Horning is very busy. So here we have Ford Drive cruiser here. Then a little dinghy nips out. So as I say, you've got to keep your wits about you. I'm conscious of the fact that there's boats behind me. So I slow down well in time. Now, what are we to do here? Boats behind me may not be as good at holding station as this, so I think we're going to go through the gap. Please don't reverse. Okay. I think he may have been advising, helping with mooring the guy in the dinghy. So one of the things with this boat that I think it's fair I should point out, and it's kind of a mental note for me to remember to tell the boatyard as well when I get back, because of all of the heavy rain that we've had, particularly on Thursday and Friday, don't you just hate those engines that sound like that? I don't know if you could hear that on the camera, but a little day boat went by with those engines. You know those engines? Yeah. Anyway, so, a lot of rain Thursday and Friday, and the right-hand side berth in the forward cabin, obviously the window leaks, and the water, or something leaks, and the water finds its way down between the side of the boat and the headlining and pulls underneath the right-hand mattress, which then, in turn, being foam, soaks that up and becomes damp. So that's not something that's sort of a easy remedy to do, and of course trying to find a leak like that could be a nightmare because of how water works, and especially boat windows. You know, it might look like it's leaking in the left hand corner, but it actually is coming from the top right kind of thing. But so that's something I've got to be honest about. I was thinking I shouldn't have told the boatyard to have taken away the insert that makes a double berth in the forward cabin, and then I remembered that if I had have done that, there's the escape hatch in the forward cabin, which is glass and metal, as they all are. And I don't know about you, but many boats I've had have suffered this problem as well, not just unique to this boat. But if it's a chilly night and it's quite warm inside the boat, the metal will obviously be cold because it's outside conducting through it, and the atmosphere in the cabin is warm, and a load of condensation will form on it, and then that will drip off. So if you had the insert and you made up a double berth, chances are you would have quite a bit of condensation dripping on you in the night. So but that's all boats that have these escape hatches that seem to suffer that problem, and it depends how cold it is outside and how warm it is inside if that happens. So some nights it won't. I've been going on rather a bit. Here we are, it's Sow House, we're here already. So I'm just going to have a little pootle around, and then I'll head back up to Black Horse Broad, which is also called something else. I can't remember. I mean, you'd think I come up this often, I should be able to tell you these places and what they are and everything else. But I can't, so I'm going to be quiet. So we're just coming on to Hoveton Little Broad, that's the name of it that I couldn't remember earlier. And it's very nice indeed. It's like you come through a little inlet and there in front of you is the actual broad. Now my understanding of matters is it says on the sign no mooring shoreside amenities or shoreside access, so I think that means you can't moor on the shore, but it doesn't say no overnight mooring or no mud waiting. But oh, there's someone else mud waiting, so yeah, I think it's okay to do. I'm going to double check in my map just to make sure that you are allowed to, and I'm not saying, oh yeah, you can come and moor here, and those in the know are saying, you can't go and moor there, you can just visit for the day and go. Okay, so here is Hoveton Little Broad. It's beautiful, it's quiet, it's like you're in someone's private lake because of all the houses that gardens back onto this. But I'm in a really big dilemma as if to, am I allowed to be here overnight on the mudway? And I especially don't want to give you guys the impression that you can come here and moor, and you can't. So let me show you what the map says, and welcome to my dilemma. Okay, so here's the map, and I'm going to give you an example of something that's completely understood, can't be taken any other way, and that's South Wroxham Inner Broad. And it quite clearly says that South Wroxham Inner Broad is navigable, but mooring is not permitted. So sure, you can't take that any other way, then you're not allowed to moor there. But when you come up to Hoveton Little Broad, it says Hoveton Little Broad has no mooring or facilities. So this is my dilemma, because there's a private craft over there that's moored on its mudway, and I'm wondering, is it that there's no mooring because of these houses and their gardens? Like, people might think, oh, it's okay to come and moor at the bank at the end of someone's garden, or does it mean there's no mooring like South Wroxham, no mud waiting, come and have a look at it, but don't stay and goodbye? So that's my dilemma, because if I am allowed to be here, it's lovely, and if I'm not allowed to be here, then I don't want to get in trouble for being here, even though there's another boat that's here. But what if they go? Then I'm just going to be on my own on the Broad, might get in trouble kind of thing, might get locked in, might shut the gate. Oh god, I don't know. So yeah, this is my sort of little dilemma I've got going on, but I think that I've read on the forum someone's account of being moored here overnight and being a lovely place to moor overnight. So I might log on the forum and say, hey guys, are you allowed to moor overnight on Hoveton Little Broad? I don't know what I'm going to do. It's lovely though. Let me show you while I'm here, possibly not with permission, what the view's like. So it's incredibly peaceful. You can hear all the bird song. And I think because it's fringed with these houses, as you can see over here, it gives the impression of being somewhere very special. You know, as if it's their own lake and you've come along into it. And because it's not open to boats all of the year, I suppose that gives it an even more special appeal to it. It's no good if I'm not allowed to mudway overnight on it. Okay, so I've decided that I can't find out if I'm allowed to overnight on this Broad. I'm sure actually you can. But there's two things that's put me off of being here overnight. First of all is the fact that I've noticed that now the wind's come back again, there's a lot of the water slapping at the hull, and it's just driving me crazy. And I went to go on the forum, the Norfolk Broads forum, just to sort of have a search to see if anyone had posted stuff about Hoveton Little Broad, you know, overnighted there, blah 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 blah, and no internet access. So noisy night, no internet. Yeah, I'm gonna be going somewhere else. Now the only problem is, it's past 5 o'clock, so no need to worry about anything to do with time, darkness setting in and so on and so forth, as there would be at another time of the year. But where should I go? So as I know, everywhere is very busy, and the reason why I didn't want to go to South House, to be honest with you, is because I'm probably going to go there tomorrow, and I haven't got the cash on me to pay for 2 nights moorings, and I'm not going to probably go anywhere where there's a cash machine to get more cash. So if I spend £6 for tonight's mooring, I can't moor there tomorrow. So that's the reason why that is. So Horning's chock-a-block. I don't want to go into Wroxham. I can't go under London Bridge, so I'm wondering if I should make back for Womack Dyke. At least that's peaceful, out of the way. What would you do? What would you do in my city? You'd probably just stay here, wouldn't you? You lot. You'd say, I'd put up with it, it's a lovely spot, it's really quiet, and if no one knows you're there, what's the big deal? But I think I'm going to go back to Womack Dyke, because all along today I've been saying, and I'm thinking it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm thinking about where I should moor tonight, where somewhere is quiet, and somewhere where the water's not slapping against the hull, blah blah blah. And here I am, it's somewhere quiet, and the water's slapping against the hull. I've got no internet access. So, yeah, what? Imagine coming away with me, indecisive. And that's it, go on up, sticks, mud weight up, we're off back to Womack Dyke. Okay, so we're leaving Hoveton Little Broad. And I tell you what, it's interesting trying to find the exit. There's a lot of sort of little bumps around the edges where the contours of the wood make, and you can see you've got to turn right and then you'll see the main river. But to begin with you think, is this it? Is this right? Should I? Shouldn't I? So anyway, it's sunny, it's 5 minutes past 5 and we are heading back to Womack Dyke. So sometimes people ask about, you know, what are moorings like in the season? You know, how soon should I arrive at a destination to get moorings? And the new in moorings are almost full. I think Viscount in front of me is possibly going to turn in a minute. I have boats behind me, dears, so if you're going to turn, do it now, please. Okay, you've missed your opportunity then, you have to turn up the river. No? Oh dear. I have to question really, I know it revolves around the weather, people's ability to have time off work, but when it's like this, is it really worth, and I'm going to say something controversial, coming in the season? Really? You pay an awful lot more premium for the price band, and for example, if you wanted to eat at the ferry inn tonight, alright, there's a space there. Oh, that's reserved for day boats only. Okay, that's why there's a space there. But yes, I mean, you know, if I wanted to moor there this evening and eat out, I would have to double moor next to someone else, or miss out. No space at the inn, literally. So I'm just not used to coming at this sort of times of the year. I'm used to coming when, you know, no one's about and I can decide I'm going to go to the bridge in Acle, going to eat out this evening, and I don't need to really think about is there going to be a mooring because there's hardly any boats out. But they're all chock-a-block, literally, you know, touching each other, nose to tail along here. So as you can see, the moorings for St Benet's Abbey here on the River Bure are chock-a-block this evening as well. It's just past 6 o'clock in the evening now, it's 7 minutes past 6, and I'm starting to worry if the moorings that I'm making for on Womack Water will have been taken, but time will only tell, so we'll see what the state of play is when we get there. But it is much more busy tonight than ever it was last night. I think there's a lot of people who have taken over their boats yesterday, have kind of come to the popular moorings, and a lot of people taking over boats today for a week or even a short break until Tuesday. But it's busy times on the rivers at the present time. So the latest news is that my little spot on Womack Dyke is taken, and the 24-hour moorings are full. The island is full, and so of course Womack Water itself will be. Someone beat me to another one just on the entrance, so it's going to have to be one just at the mouth of Womack Dyke with the River Thurn, just where the sign for Ludham and Womack Water and the Staithe and such like is. Seen quite a few boats over the times I visited Moor there. So just not quite on the Thurn itself. So I'll update you as and when we get there and what the mooring's like. So here is tonight's mooring, and it was an interesting mooring attempt because there's a slight breeze, but it's just constantly pushing the boat off the bank. But in case you're wondering exactly where this is, in front of you is the River Thurn, and to the left here is Womack Dyke. There's a boat just beyond that 4 mile an hour sign. So I came in here, which is where the actual sign for Ludham is, and there's the village sign that sort of says what's there, the King's Arms and so on. If you happen to moor here though, do be careful, because along here somewhere hidden, and this will grow up far more during the summer, there's a large hole, which I think might have been where a post was, because it's square. In fact, it's around here. So I think maybe that sign was closer to the bank. It's been replaced because this doesn't look very old. And where it used to be, there is now a square hole. Also, just here, I'll just take you through. Ideal little fishing point this. Some pebbles, rocks and stuff about this far out, so don't get too close. That could do nasty things to a hull. There is a warning streak just there, and here is the path, and there's all of the moorings and the boats and so on. But I'm aware that the wind is going to be on the microphone, but it's been a long day today. It's just haven't got my watch on me at the moment, but I believe it's about 7:15, possibly even a little later now I've moored up actually. So I'm going to get dinner on, which tonight is going to be minted lamb shank and mashed potatoes and some mange tout and some white wine. And I know these captains' blogs, especially in this wind, they're not so good, they're not so interesting as perhaps they've been in the past, but I hope you've enjoyed watching them nonetheless. Tomorrow we are going to Sow House, and that is this evening's end, but tomorrow it will be mooring on the last night of this captain's blog at Sow House Broad. So again, thanks for watching, until tomorrow. So good morning and welcome to day 3 of the Captain's Blog. It's the last full day today. Join me here on the River Thurn, and in front of me is the famous White Mill at Thurn Dyke. It's about 8:10 in the morning, and already it is warm enough to have the windows open and the sunroof open. The cloud is high and hazy, but the sun is coming through, so it looks like to be a cracker of a day. Today obviously is the last full day of the trip, so we're heading towards Sow House. That's my intended overnight destination. It's close to Wroxham and easy for taking the boat back on Monday morning. I just wanted to sort of say this just in case people had commented or thought that it wasn't very wise or sensible to moor where I did last night in relation to the mouth of Womack Dyke, possibly creating sighting difficulties for people coming out of the dyke. So if you've said that, thought that, I take on board that, but it was all that was available, it was all that I could get without clambering over reeds or being unsure of if the bank was firm and good behind them. And as it happened, because it's at an angle, it didn't affect that kind of thing, but it is a factor I took into account, and it's why I've left the mooring earlier this morning before too much has come past or anything. I just mention this because when I'm doing these vlogs, people may watch them and think, oh, that's good, or I'll do that, or I'll try this, and I don't want to be responsible for encouraging people to do silly things. Also, I did get internet access last night, and I did find out that it does seem quite a point about Little Hoveton or Hoveton Little Broad. Can you overnight on the mudway? It's I think it's a grey area, shall we say. Probably officially, if you talk to the private owners of the Broad, they'd probably say no, you can't. But people often do, both hirers and private owners. Some have even fished on the Broad, which is not allowed apparently. So, you know, I think I could have stayed there, but as I say, with the wind slapping the wavelets against the hull, and also no mobile reception for my dongle, no internet, I thought no. And I would have liked to have stopped off somewhere else instead of coming all this way, but as you saw yesterday, everywhere was full. St Bennet's was full, Cockshoot Dyke was full, Horning was full, you know, all the way along, and people last night were coming by and, you know, going down Womack Water and coming back no luck and heading off towards Potter Heigham. So it really is busy, and this isn't sort of silly season August when you would expect most of the boatyards fleets to be out. So if you are coming in the season, do moor up early. I would recommend for the evening at popular places, honestly, about 3:30, 4 o'clock, because any time after that and you're going to be disappointed. So I'll update you as and when. Today is not going to be a very interesting day. It's going to be quite sedate. Also, this boat has got a fuel gauge. I'm just going to show you that to you. Now, last night that was past 4/4, and this morning it's jumped below it. So clearly a combination of where I've been going, using the heater at night, the size of the engine in this boat, it's a nanny unit. I think it's 40 horsepower, which is quite a big one for a boat this size, is using the fuel. Now, I've paid a lesser fuel deposit, so I think I'll probably be contributing to that, shall we say. Usually with boats, at least from boatyards I've hired with, a week is £150 and a short break is £120. Well, you're never going to use £120 in a short break. You might use £150 in a week. I usually average about anywhere between 80 and 100, 110 if you're pushing it. But 3-night short break, I think it would be fair to say an average fuel price or fuel deposit, instead of being £120, because even if you get a lot of that back, you still got to have the money to begin with, haven't you? Is if they charge maybe sort of £70 or £80, which would be more reasonable as a deposit perhaps. Anyway, I'm blabbering on again. See the yachts taking part in the regatta waking up, getting ready, and a couple I can see sails out in the distance over there. So yeah, should be an interesting day. So we're now on the River Bure, just taking it easy down here, heading towards St Benet's Abbey, and I seem to have gained fuel between the Thurn and the Bure. As you'll see here, we're now past 4 quarters. So yeah, it's an interesting development there. I don't know why, because nothing's changed. But there we are. The sender unit, I presume, had a little bit of, well, it's either giving me a false reading now, it was giving me a false reading before. But we'll see what the pump says when I get back to the yard. That's the important thing, isn't it? Anyway, so coming up on the right hand side is St Benet's Abbey, or rather the ruins of the gatehouse of the Abbey. But no, it's just a lovely day today. The only problem with coming away for especially weekend short breaks is, by the second day you're into the zone, you're relaxed, it's all good. And then today you're still, oh, it's just really good, and you think, oh, got to go back home tomorrow. So yeah, it's nice to go on a boat. It's nice if you save some money, but you wish you had longer. At least I do. I think, you know, even at the end of a week I wish I had another, you know. So anyway, that's just me rabbiting on again, but I'll update you as and when. So we're making progress, just coming into Horning, approaching the new inn, and then we'll be going round the bend where the Swan is, and then I'll be nipping back into Hoveton Little Broad, where I'm going to mud wait and do my brekkie. This is requiring some interesting boat skills and about 5 eyes. There's 5 yachts in front of me, there's 2 behind me. And the thing is, I'm not going to be able to get past these for a good while, I don't think, because as one tacks, the other one will tap the other way. It's like one of those game shows where people have to run through the sort of swinging balls. Quite fun this though. This boat handles impeccably, and you know, it's very responsive. Right, now, as the wind calmed down, are you going to stay open? No, you're going to tack across, aren't you? And if you are going to tack across, your friend's going to join you when he gets to that point as well, because that's just the way the wind is. Fortunately, I'm keeping up with them, and that we're all travelling at the same pace. So the 2 behind me, who are equally doing this ballet, are not catching up on me. Poor old day boats there. Now that other boat on the right hand side with a different coloured hull, that's a different, I think that's a different class. No, it's not. No, it's the same, it's just a different coloured thing. Now, is this the Broad I want? Are we all going down the same Broad? Is Hoveton Little Broad? I think it is. Oh dear lads, this is where I wanted to go for breakfast. And because you're all going to come to a grinding halt in the trees because there's no Is that the Broad? It is, right, okay. They're having to paddle their way in, so what I'm going to do is go down river, wait for those to go in, turn round, come back, and go in the Broad myself, find a quiet little sheltered bit, put the mud weight over and get brekkie on. So we're just entering Black Horse Broad, otherwise known as Hoveton Little Broad, just behind the yachts here. And I get the feeling it might be a bit breezy on the Broad today. But I just need to stay well away from these guys. Some rafting going up there. Ah, I see they have like a Barton Broad, you can't see it, but there's a floating sort of official's hut and start line. So I'm just leaving Hoveton Little Broad, otherwise known as Black Horse Broad, and this has been really lovely watching all these sailing boats doing their thing. It's a lovely Broad. Now I've just got to figure out where the exit is and then head off down the river towards Sow House. The time now is 10 minutes past 12. The sun has continued to get warmer, the clouds have gone. At this rate I should have bought some more sun cream with me. Okay, so I found the exit entrance point, so just taking a wide angle in case something's coming along, because there's completely blind turn here because of the tree cover. No, there's everything's fine. So after having something to eat, I decided to do a kind of a clean ship routine. So I've tidied everything, gone a bit too far, done the inside and outside of the windows, can't help myself. And so really and truly, half my packing's done, so just a little bit more tonight, and then it'll be no stress for the morning, no last minute rush. Just don't want to go home now. It's like literally Sunday afternoon syndrome, you know, when you think, oh, a lovely weekend, I've got work on Monday. And with this case, no, I haven't got work on Monday, but I've got to go home on Monday. So, still, I can't complain really. Come up enough as it is, don't I? So, just at the exit entrance of the Broad, I'm going to turn right. Can't remember how far away our house is from here. Not too far anyway. So everything's going swimmingly. I'm just enjoying myself. In fact, I've quite enjoyed negotiating the sailing boats today. It's better than just going along the river, sort of, you know, like a robot. To actually sort of steer, keep your eyes about you, use the throttle a bit. Okay, so back onto the main river viewer now. I'll update you when something happens. I think I may have to go and do a good deed here, because can you see this? There's two little girls in the back of this boat. She's dangling her legs over the back, playing with the fender. The door's closed, no one knows what they're doing in the saloon. And I've just noticed this. I thought they were sitting properly, but she's just got her legs over, so not liking this, making me too nervous. I've got to go and say something. Okay, so I tried to do the good deed, and indeed I told the parents, and they were very grateful, and they brought her inside. But of course it's always a wise decision on a boat, especially to keep young kids in sight at all times, have them in the front well, for example, on one of those types of boats. But in order to draw alongside and talk to them, of course, wouldn't you know it, just at that point, 3 boats came along, and I think they all thought, what on earth is this idiot doing trying to overtake this other boat at this sort of place? So I wasn't. I was just trying to be friendly, giving advice, and, you know, didn't want to see a little girl fall off the back of the boat where her propeller is. Anyway, so we're continuing our progress into Wroxham. We're just starting to pass some of these lovely waterside homes, and I think what I'm probably going to do is, I've seen loads of Faircraft Loins boats out today, so their yard's probably going to be pretty empty. I've seen a few Barnes Brinkcrafts. There might be space at my yard, but when you go back to your home yard, they always sort of think, hello, why has our boat come back earlier than, what's up, what's happened? So we'll see what the situation there is. I'd love an ice cream as well. How random am I? Anyway, more as it happens. So here we are at Barnes Brinkcraft, and I just had to perform a very high pressure but actually excellently executed stern mooring. You see, you had to come in here, no use of bow thrusters, turn round and moor. That wasn't the stressy bit. The stressy part is I hate wasps, and look at this bugger that's come in. So that was buzzing around me, so I've got to get him out of the way. but got a mooring, so once I get rid of the wasps, close everything up, pop into Wroxham, get some cash, get an ice cream, and then maybe another little treat, I don't know, and head off towards Sow House. So it's turning out to be a blooming nice day, lovely weather, and bagged a great spot here at Barnes Brinkcraft. So I've been all over today really. I've popped back up to Horning, and now I'm coming back to Wroxham, and in front of me is just Sow House where I'm going to be overnighting, and I'm actually going to be meeting up with some friends, and Simon and Sonia and others, and there's going to be apparently a bit of a barbecue happening, so that's worked out really well. Very close to base, and I'm going to be sharing this evening with a lovely bunch of people. So I've seen them further up the river, managed to turn round, so come back down again and avoid the day boats. So it's all fun, it's all good. The weather is just, oh, if only the whole weekend had been like this, Friday and you know, Saturday, but no, it's really lovely. So that's almost it. We're going to be reaching our final destination for today very shortly, which of course is Sow House. And it's been a lovely break, gone too quickly, started off, you know, terribly wet and windy and awful, but at least now it's ending on a high. Absolutely gorgeous weather, very warm. And whilst this boat isn't the most fantastic for me, I'm going to miss it. It's performed very well. It's extremely capable boat, very easy to control and handle. It's hard to get on and off, of course, but it's of an evening very nice. The stereo is very good. I haven't used the TV, so I can't tell you what that's like, but it looks very good. It's very quiet when underway. So yes, for the deal that I got and the time of year and the weather, absolutely brilliant. Might have to try this for the August bank holiday as well, see if there's any deals going around that weekend as there was this one. I suppose that's all down to how well the bookings are. So, Sow House is ahead. So, despite the fact this captain's blog's a bit bitty, it's a bit short, haven't really gone over the same kind of things as I might normally, I still enjoy doing them. I enjoy blogging my travels on the Broads, and I'm sure some people that are regular watchers might think, I know you go to the same places time and time again, why don't you go here, here, here? But it's relaxing, and that's the main reason why I come. If you like, it's a bit of a hobby, obsession, expensive one at that. But if you enjoy watching these and just follow me on my travels, then that's the main thing really as well. And I can also look back at these and think, oh yeah, I remember that boat, and I remember going here, etc. Anyway, I've said far too much as usual. If you have been, then thanks for watching.